Welcome back to Rachel's Financial Coaching. I am Coach Rachel, and this is my ridiculous financial life story. So, part two. So, in the last video, I talked about how I bought the motorcycle on credit and I paid no attention to it, to the paperwork, right? They talked to me about it and I paid no attention, like whatever. Okay, $20,000. That was probably my entire salary for the year. Horrible financial decision that I made. Anyways, but like I mentioned before, I am a naturally a saver, and being just barely on my own in my own place, I didn't really have a lot of bills stacked up here. So I was in a kind of a good place to take out a loan, right? Isn't that what people tell you? When the first month came that the payment was due, I think it was like the 4th or the 5th or something. And I'm going to say car payment. My motorcycle payment was like, I don't remember. Just say $500. I think it was a little less than that, but I think it was about that. I could totally be wrong. Maybe it was 200 or 300. Anyways, and I started feeling really like stressed out. They had told me when I signed for the loan that to mail it in, right? They have a website set up. You can make payments online, but it's a little wonky. It'd just be better to mail it in. And as long as the post date on the envelope has the date either before or on the date of your due date, you're fine. You're not going to get any late fees or whatever. Just fine until I got home and I didn't believe him. Right? I started getting really anxious about it and stressed out because I think I did like wait till payday, which was like a Friday, and the due date was like the next day. And since I worked nights, like the timing was a little weird, and so I had to wait for like Saturday morning to go and get the money order so I can mail it in. And by the time this all happened, I think the mail already went. I was like, oh, this isn't going to be postmarked by today when it's due. And I started getting really stressed out about it. So I literally went and put the payment in the mail, and then went upstairs because I lived in an apartment, and I made a payment online. And then the website was wonky and it freaked out, so I did it again. So the first month of me having this motorcycle loan, I made 3 payments because it accepted both, plus the one in the mail. So I paid like $1,500 this first month. And between that and my rent, I was pretty much done for. I was like broke. And my friend actually told me she co-signed for the loan because she knows how I am with money. She knows I'm a saver. She knows I pay my bills early. It just didn't happen that way with the first payment because I just put the money down and I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have put all of it down. That was like all of my savings at this point when I put it down. And I didn't think about making the first payment not being until after payday. So I didn't plan very well, but I was really committed. So you ever been like really done something ridiculous, but you're committed to it? That was me. I've done things in my life. And I can laugh about it now. So I finally found a class that I could attend, and I went. I also carpooled because I didn't have a license, right? Good times here. And so I took the class. The first day, it was like a 2-day class thing. And the first day was fine and it was great. And it was like all classroom setting, which is perfect for me because I learned really well there. And the second day was another ridiculous story here. So Second day, you take your written exam in the class, and then you go out and then you practice on the motorcycle. And I think you actually take an exam there. Like if you do everything that they say, then you get your license, motorcycle license. And just fine, great, everything's wonderful. I took the written, I passed it, great. And then we went out to get on a motorcycle, right? And they had to pull out. I, I think it was a dirt bike. I could totally be wrong, but I think it was a street legal dirt bike. Okay, and like the back of the like shed kind of thing, and it was like horrible because I'm 5'1". So they had to find the smallest thing that I could sit on to ride to take my exam. So that was fun. I think I went around like once because they have you go like around in a circle and there's like different parts of a test there. They put like a log down or something. Anyways, the second time I went around, my pant leg got caught in the chain of the bike. It was a horrible disaster. Thank goodness the person behind me knew how to stop because I was on the ground. And yeah, I think I broke their bike and I ruined my pants and I couldn't finish the class. I chose not to finish the class. Eventually I moved from where I was living previously and I actually moved in with my friend who co-signed and everything was fine. We brought the motorcycle to the place we were living and I started just riding it around the complex. Slowly just trying to get the hang of it, the first gear, neutral, everything like that. And it went really well. And now the worst part of this story. I have crashed this bike probably 5 times. In my life, I crashed this motorcycle many times. Always on a left-hand turn. Always on a left-hand turn. Since 2008 to 2010. And I don't have it anymore because in 2010 my company closed its doors. I am very grateful that the company actually sat everyone down and they told us. I think they gave us like a 9-month warning and they said, hey, by the way, we're closing, we're going overseas. And so I was really getting stressed out about trying to find a job when I have a payment due. And I wasn't even so much worried about rent. It was really just about the motorcycle. Okay. Maybe because I've seen someone lose their vehicle in the middle of the night. They woke up, got dressed, went to go to the car to go. They can go to work, and their car was gone. It was repoed in the middle of the night while they were sleeping. That I did not want to happen. So on one time, the last time I rode my motorcycle, I was leaving work. I did eventually get my license. I did eventually learn how to ride it. And I did eventually learn to process my anger on this motorcycle when I'm riding. Because actually, when you work graveyard shift, there's not a whole lot of traffic until when you go home. So in the night, it was nice. Because I would go to work at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night and there's like no on the road. It was so nice. Like I could speed because you use the freeway. You got no place for a cop to hide. Anyways, I think I did like 80. That's as far as I went. Okay, I did 80. And fun times. Well, it was Thanksgiving holiday, right? It was like I want to say the Wednesday before because I think the next day was because I worked graveyard and everything. It was just the way the schedule worked out. And I went to leave work, and for some reason I went this way instead of that way, and so I had to make a left-hand turn. see if I can do this right on the camera. So I came out of my job and I made a left-hand turn, right? Well, there was a car there and I sped up to get in front of the other car. Luckily, the other car was really nice. And I thought this car was going to keep going. The car in front of me was going to keep going because I thought they were turning. I swore they had a turn signal on. So I didn't slow down in time. And eventually they did go, but not fast enough. So I thought I would make the light because they were going. But then I realized I wasn't and I blacked out. I woke up and I was on the asphalt and my bike was across from me. I had flipped off my bike and landed on the ground. And the light was red and everything was fine. And I hurt my thumb and I was really grateful because that's the only thing that hurt for a couple of years. It wasn't bad enough. I didn't go to the doctor. My bike was completely trashed. So the lady in the van behind me, she got out to make sure I was okay and kind of like snapped me and like woke me back up, right? Because I blacked out. I didn't know what happened. And she helped me pick the bike up because my hand is hurt and it's really heavy and I can't pick it up on my own. Another fun, ridiculous story about why I should have a motorcycle that I can't pick up, that I'm too short for. It was lowered. Thank goodness for that. And everything was fine. But yeah. Then I walked it to the nearby like businesses because everyone was closed for Thanksgiving. So I wasn't worried about it being in like somebody else's parking spot. I was like, I'm just going to leave it here. And then a coworker saw me and helped me with it. And they dropped me off at my friend's house. And everything was fine. The next day, I went to my family's house for Thanksgiving. I told them what had happened. And my uncle and I, we had rode together before. He knows I'm not as experienced as he is on my motorcycle, right? So anyways, he comes, my aunt and my uncle, they take me back to where my motorcycle is. And my uncle gets on the bike. And like the clutch is messed up. The alignment is way off. And luckily, he is really experienced. And he rides the motorcycle for me to a place that was insurance approved to have a bike checked out. I wasn't worried about the tank because I had already bought another one. I had plans to swap it out. It was purple. It was a dragon. It was beautiful. But knowing that my job was closing down, I let them total the motorcycle because I didn't want the payment, because in my head I wouldn't have to pay it if I didn't have it. And so my uncle had told me, I was like, I know they're going to total it. I'm losing my job. I don't need to have a payment while I'm looking for another job and just become this stressed out and like desperate person looking for a job. Like, I need a job. I need a job now. I need a job. Can you pay me? That's not enough money, but I will take it because I need to make this payment. Okay. I didn't want any of that stuff. And so I didn't lose my job yet, but I knew it was coming. It was inevitable. I watched Endgame last night. Anyways, and so they did. And I got a letter from my auto loan place. And they said they were able to fix the bike and they sold it. And then because they sold it for a higher price than what I had owed, even though I only had it for 2 years at this point, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, because I make bigger payments on it, they sold it for more than what I owed. So I didn't owe anything else, which was nice and it was a relief. And I still have that letter. It's just packed away with all my important papers. But there was still like $8,000 left on this loan. And thankfully it was covered. So I wasn't on the hook anymore. Like before this accident, that was like the worst, right? Because normally I just crash and pick it back up and just keep going. Like a way out for me. Not everyone has that, and I'm not recommending you do that. That is just literally what happened with my ridiculous bike life story before I got let go. So I was still working and I was still carpooling. And then what I decided to do was pull out cash. And I went and I bought a car from a dealership cash. $1,500 for a Toyota Corolla. The best car in the world. Lasted me, oh, I don't know, since 2019. So was that 9 years? 1,500 bucks, 9 years. Got me to and from work, got me everywhere I needed to go. So I learned so much from this experience, right? I learned I don't like making a payment every month. It stresses me out about it getting there on time, remembering to pay it. The interest alone was ridiculous. I will say, thankfully, when I paid extra, they applied it to principal. And I didn't even know that was a thing. And now I am not stressed out. I am not constantly wondering, be like, oh, did I make my payment? Oh, do I got this payment? Oh, do I have this much money or do I have this much money? I don't have to worry about that anymore. There's no more stress around money in my life now. If that is you, if you are someone who got so stressed out and someone's like going, I don't know how we're going to make our payments anymore, I can help you. Totally, 100%, 1,000%. Because I've been there and I know what it's like, and it's stressful and it sucks. And I'm not saying you don't enjoy the car, I understand. Now I am choosing to not have debts, and that includes the house. Okay, it was so important to me to not have a payment that when Javier and I were starting to talk about buying a house, and I started looking up houses with the idea that we were going to keep this house because it was paid for, we're going to get a mortgage for the next one, and then the renters, and blah, 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 and people don't realize that there's risk involved. I had a panic attack, and if you don't know anything about that, go check it out. There's a video on YouTube about it. My ridiculous time when I was about to say teen years, before I turned 21. I hope you have a great day. God bless you. Bye. I am Coach Rachel with Rachel's Financial Coaching. Hope you have a wonderful day.